Good morning, everyone. I'm Vic Donahoe, Director of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Today we are kicking off Motorcycle Awareness Month, which is a national campaign. In conjunction with the 7th Annual Music City Motor Skills and Training Competition put on by the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I want to thank Opry Mills. I want to thank the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Tennessee Highway Patrol Falcons for their hosting this event. Also want to thank AAA and Vanderbilt University for being here. THSO was to remind drivers to look twice and share the road with motorcycles. As the warm weather comes, we all know that there'll be more motorcycles on the road. And it doesn't take but just a couple of seconds for that extra look before you pull out or turn. Motorcycles are not as big as cars or vehicles and much harder to see. That's why you'll see their headlights on. It is a state law that they have their headlights on for more visibility. Our mission here at the Highway Safety Office is to change behavior through education and enforcement. We accomplish this goal by partnering with law enforcement agencies and traffic safety advocates across the state. Last year, there were over 3,000 crashes, motorcycle crashes. 142 of these motorcycle crashes resulted in a fatality. During this event, we'll also be displaying a motorcycle that was donated by Little Big Town's Kimberly Chapman. It's here to my right in the trailer. This exhibit displays a motorcycle of Chapman's brother-in-law, Alan, who was killed in 2012 while riding his motorcycle hit head-on by an impaired driver. So always remember to share the road and look twice for these motorcycles as the warm weather comes and motorcycle riding increases. It is my pleasure to introduce Major Tony Barham of the Tennessee Highway Patrol for a few words.
Thank you, Vic. As I speak to you about stats, I'm not just talking about numbers. I'm talking about actual incidents where people were involved, people were injured, and people were killed. In 2016, there were 3,116 motorcycle crashes in Tennessee. 142 people were killed in these crashes. This simply is not acceptable. Each time that we experience a death on the Tennessee Highway, that is something that all of us here at the Tennessee Highway Patrol take extremely personal. The mission of the Tennessee Highway Patrol is to serve and protect, and that is an unwavering commitment. Like most of you here today, I am a rider as well. I love the feeling that I have when I'm on my bike as the wind passes all around me and I feel the road pass below me. But I have to be honest with you, I do not feel as safe or as comfortable as I once did. I say that for numerous reasons. We're all getting increasingly busier than we were just a few years ago. This tends to cause many motorists to spin and rush from destination to destination. As we're becoming more rushed with our daily schedules, we also tend to increasingly drive distracted. A distracted driver simply misses out on a lot of what's going on around them. This also causes motorists to fail to observe a motorcycle, which is a much smaller visual object on the road. So what can we as riders do to increase our visibility and avoid being involved in a crash? Here are several steps we can take to increase the odds that we will not be struck by a distracted driver or involved in a crash. 1. Keep your head on a swivel. You need to constantly scan the traffic ahead of you, both approaching and traveling in the same direction. Check in your mirrors to observe traffic approaching from behind you. Use extra caution as you approach the side streets or enter into an intersection. Allow yourself the space to react to hazards. 2. Upgrade your bike's brake light to a brighter LED light. This will be much brighter than the standard light bulb from the factory. 3. front and rear turn signals, again also with a LED light. 4. Install a brighter headlight that provides you with more of a visual presence to oncoming motorists during the daytime. This will also allow you to observe the road better at night for foreign objects or curves in the road. The helmet law here in Tennessee is constantly under attack. If you are injured or killed due to not wearing a helmet that was not DOT approved, then you hurt everyone. This expense is passed on to every taxpayer and person paying for motorcycle and health insurance. The cost and the effect is also passed on to your immediate family. If you're injured or killed, then your income is removed from your home. How is that going to burden and affect your family? Have you stopped to think about that? Please make sure that you are wearing a DOT approved helmet. If it is a skull cap style helmet, then those are simply not approved and do not provide you with any protection. It is critical that you wear the most important safety tool that you can wear while riding that is a DOT approved helmet. Wearing proper clothing is just as important as your helmet. Wear protective leather chaps and a jacket to prevent road rash in the event you lay your bike down. In closing, there are 2 types of riders: those who have crashed and those who have not yet. Remember, a motorcycle is not forgiving. If you're speeding, riding recklessly, riding under the influence of alcohol or drugs, then you are increasing your chances of being involved in a serious crash that may result in injury or death. As a rider, we must take the responsibility for our own actions and ride responsibly. Please drive alert for safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Barham. Our next speaker is one of our traffic safety partners that I mentioned earlier in my opening remarks. It's AAA. For many years, AAA has partnered with the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. And once again, they are here supporting our efforts to bring awareness to motorcycle riders. Thank you.
Thank you, Director, and good morning. AAA has been an advocate for traffic safety for all road users for over 100 years, and specifically, we have supported Tennessee's law requiring helmet use for all motorcycle riders. AAA strives to make sure that all members of the motoring public arrive safely to their destination while on Tennessee roadways. And throughout those 100 years, our messages have stayed the same. We have strived for the same issues. But one thing that has changed is the increase in traffic crashes and the increase in traffic fatalities. And so it's ever important today to strive more for advocacy, to continue our education and traffic safety efforts. So today, we're all here today because May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And we heard before how motorcyclists can stay safe while on the roadways. I'm here today to talk about the responsibility that motorists have, other drivers of passenger vehicles and other vehicles, the responsibility that they have in keeping motorcycles safe on our roadways. It's important to remember that motorcycles have the same rights as larger vehicles on the road, but there are additional risks with motorcycle riders. They are more likely to be injured if a collision does happen, and that is primarily because they have fewer protective systems compared to those of passenger vehicles. The risk of a collision is particularly high at intersections. And these commonly involve the driver of a passenger vehicle turning left in front of a motorcycle. 2/3 of car motorcycle crashes that happen at an intersection are the result of a passenger vehicle violating a motorcycle's right-of-way. And so we may be thinking, what can motorists do to help? What can motorists do to keep motorcyclists safe on the roadways? And most importantly, always look twice. Know that motorcycles are on the roadways and actively look for and expect them. and always give motorcycles plenty of room. We may think that they are smaller, and so we tend to give them less space, but that is not important. What's important is they need as much space around them as passenger vehicles do. Motorists should also increase their following distance to 5 to 6 seconds in good weather and continue to increase that and maintain even more space when the weather or road conditions are poor. And also importantly, limit distractions at all times when driving. Our most important job when we're behind the wheel is making sure that our mind is on the task of driving. And the second that we decide to drive distracted, we're removing our brain from the task of driving, and that is very dangerous. The second that we decide to become distracted, regardless of the type of distraction, we're putting not only ourselves and our passengers, but other users of the roadway in danger. And finally, enlist in the help of other passengers to watch and listen for motorists. Sometimes we might think that as a passenger, we kind of get a free ride on the roadway, but it's also important to engage in being a good passenger and helping out the driver and letting them know that you're there for them, that you're looking. Sometimes it takes 2 eyes and 2 ears to stay safe on the road. And finally, following the rules of the road saves lives. We've all heard everything today, and we all have the same mission, and that is to save lives on the roadway. And we may think that as drivers we're doing a good job, that we're looking before we pull out in intersections. We think we're doing a good job of checking our mirrors. But I promise you the 2 seconds that it takes for you to look twice again and to actively look and make sure that you're looking specifically for motorcyclists, it won't take much time out of your commute, but the life-saving implications are tremendous. Thank you.
Let me first apologize for Mother Nature blowing my notes away and thank Megan Osborne from AAA for being here to speak a few words. Also, our next speaker is Dr. Bradley Dennis from Vanderbilt University. He's going to give a perspective on injuries, Vandy's missions, and the dangers of motorcycle crashes. And I welcome him here this morning to say a few words. Thank you. Each year as spring arrives and the weather warms up, we at Vanderbilt University Medical Center see a spike in motorcycle-related trauma. There's typically 3 types of injuries that we most commonly see associated with motorcycle accidents. So the first one is orthopedic injuries, broken bones, dislocations, but also the more severe injuries, which include amputated arms and legs. These can often require surgery and can result in significant loss of function and long-term disability. Other injuries include significant road rash. These are the results often of sliding across the asphalt without proper protective clothing. These with high speeds can be extensive and even require skin grafting and surgery to completely heal them as well. The last injury that we see, and this is for us probably the most devastating, are the traumatic brain injuries. These are the most dreaded injuries. They can often be fatal. They're often the result of riding helmetless or with inadequate helmets. Major Barham mentioned the use of approved DOT helmets as your best protection against traumatic brain injury in a motorcycle accident. I want to reiterate that point as well. The skull cap is shown time and time again not to be adequate for these types of accidents. So as mentioned by both Megan and Major Barham, there's kind of 3 common causes of motorcycle accidents. Drugs and alcohol are the first one. Speed is the second one, and then the third one, as we've talked a lot about today, is other drivers. It should go without saying that motorcycles and drugs and alcohol don't mix, but I think it bears repeating as well. Driving a motorcycle requires full attention to everything going on around you, and you should avoid anything that distracts you or prevents you from giving your full and utmost attention. The winding roads of the Cumberland Plateau in East Tennessee are some of the most scenic and fun rides in America. They attract motorcyclists from all over the country. Unfortunately, too much speed on these roads can ruin your ride very quickly. So I encourage riders to exercise caution and obey speed limits. And lastly, and a point that's been mentioned over and over today, is the biggest threat to motorcyclists today is going to be other drivers on the road. We've talked a lot about looking twice for motorcyclists, and I encourage all drivers to be aware of those around them on the roadways, and especially motorcyclists. So thank you, in conclusion, for letting me speak today. To all the riders out there, enjoy the beautiful roadways here in Tennessee, but protect yourself, be aware, and be safe. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dennis. In closing, I want to thank the men and women that are here to participate in this skills competition. Not only are 5 states represented, many local departments from across the state of Tennessee are here as well. And this is not only a competition, it's a training. And it's training these officers to be aware of their surroundings as well as the motoring public. I also want to mention that the Tennessee Department of Safety has 31 locations where motorcycle rider education is taught across the state. It starts at beginners and goes to advanced. About every weekend there is a training that's being held across the state by some of the partners of the Motorcycle Rider Education Program. Also want to thank the Tennessee Highway Patrol for allowing us to share this moment and bring awareness to Motorcycle Awareness Month, National Motorcycle Awareness Month. I also want to recognize Kevin Hager from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Shandy Smith, who is the Program Manager for Motorcycles. I also want to recognize Richard Holt, who is the LEL Administrator, and also Fred Sherrill, who is an LEL, Law Enforcement Liaison for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Again, I appreciate everyone's attention, and be safe out there on the roads, and pay attention for these motorcycles. Thank you.